Sports Talk Worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Man, boom. You know what I'm saying? Listen, Oscar De La Hoya, the golden boy himself, is coming out again. You know, he seems to be serious about his comeback. And he says, hey, man, when I come back, I got to have an easy fight. So who is he picking for his easy fight? Gennady Golovkin. Now he's thinking, shoot, I'm going to get Gennady Golovkin, sure, middleweight, and got Gennady Golovkin fighting Samaretta, right? So that means his confidence is not up where it should be, because remember, that Samaretta fight, this dude got 5 knockouts, and he wasn't the mandatory. Remember that. Gennady Golovkin asked for him to become the mandatory. Gennady Golovkin did not have to fight him. That's why I always say he's hell-bent. So therefore, your boy, Oscar De La Hoya said, I'm going to come back and do that in early 2021. Well, that's something. And I told you, his comeback is basically, to let Canelo know this is how you fight harder fights. That's what it is. Right? Now, he's not going to, talk about, to Charlo and Andre yet, Oscar De La Hoya. But that's what happened. You got to imagine, Canelo is out of his contract with DAZN, even though they're going to let him fight over there right now, and out of his contract with Golden Boy Promotions. And because he is not going to fight Andre and Charlo. DAZN wanted him to fight premium fights, and he's not. And he's not going to go up to the heavy, light heavy and fight Beterbiev or Bivol, which, I think Bivol, he can probably get in with Bivol a little something. But he's not fighting those. So what he's going to do now, what he said he was going to do at the middleweight division before it got hard. He was like, hey, I want to be undisputed at middleweight. People forget that. Don't hold him accountable. Don't say anything about it. Now he's saying 168-pound division. He wants to become undisputed at that, right? It's a little bit easier to do. But the bottom line is, good luck with that, because the Charlos and Andres are going to be coming up there too. Right, so I'm just checking Oscar De La Hoya, and people are wondering why he's doing this and why he's saying that. Oh, his business, he's lost his biggest cash cow and things like that. He has. But it's not a cash cow if you can't get him to fight nobody. You know what I mean? De La Hoya couldn't keep saying in the open, hey, you got to fight these brothers here. He couldn't keep saying that. He's his promoter, for crying out loud. He said it a time or two. When a promoter says to be great, he's going to have to beat Andre and Charlo. That's pretty much as far as a promoter can go. If people don't understand that after that point, he ain't going to say nothing else. But now, okay, man, if I can't get him to fight these guys, what am I going to keep doing? I can't keep saying he's better than everybody. I can't keep having Ring Magazine put him at #1 pound for pound, and all these other people, ESPN and all them, going along with the script and saying he's better than everybody. We're not fighting these guys. Right? Now, this is just, Andre. A lot of time about talking about Andre. But Andre, they could give this guy certain titles. Right? The title of, I'm the only guy in boxing that's a champion who's mandatory doesn't want to fight him. An up-and-coming, awesome Mexican guy, Jaime Munguia, is doing everything to not fight Andre as we speak. And Jaime Munguia is dangerous. But he wants no part. He's the mandatory. And like I say all the time, what mandatories don't want to fight their championship fight? All of them, right? So we could make that title. We could invite Demetrius Andrade on ESPN and all of that stuff, and introduce him as the guy Canelo hasn't won the fight for at least 6 years now. We can do that. And here's another thing. We wouldn't have to have translators. The man speaks English, for crying out loud. Gone are the wonderful days when we used to think being a black dude and being articulate was the way to go. It isn't. Ain't nobody listening to Demetrius Andrade over there and Andre Ward. You can't get no more articulate than that, right? Nobody liked him either. You see what I'm saying? So my point about the Andrade stuff is not just Canelo. It's the people that are enabling him, right? It should be impossible for an athlete to be a boxer, to be a champion 7 years, right? And everybody is still able to avoid this guy, and he's not known. And all the people that are foreigners are known more than him. People that won't even speak English. Won't. Canelo should be speaking English by now, shouldn't he? Right? He won't. Doesn't have to. Gennady Golovkin says parts. It's good for him. He's trying, so I ain't going to never get on nobody that's trying. But you got one that already speaks it. Speaks it well as a champion, and these guys don't want to fight. So that's how it is with boxing with me. You guys know how I feel about boxing right now. It is not my favorite sport. Because there's just too many things that are going on, and when you know that, you can't sit back and watch a fight and act like you don't know who this guy is. The Charlos to a lesser extent too, but I mean, we're not gonna just sit here and ignore that. So yes, Oscar De La Hoya is handling his business. He's basically saying, "I'm gonna go fight an easy fight, Gennady Golovkin," because Canelo ain't. Trust me, that is what the hell is going on, and I'm gonna keep saying it. So let's see if Oscar come back. He probably gonna get his head knocked off, but it's about principle to him, right? Everybody's blaming him. You let Canelo go. And that's not the case. It's like, damn it, if Canelo would have fought Andre last year for undisputed, we would have had some kind of, so everything would have been different, right? Let me stop ranting. I'm going to get out of here with this one. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.